Laura Antal here. No makeup. I should wash my face. Getting ready for bed. I think I look better sometimes without makeup on. Yeah, some of my eyebrows are practically not existent. But I wanted to talk about the fact that my mother yesterday said that I could have had a job with health benefits, and I'm like, what job? There was no job I would ever take with health benefits. There isn't. I'm too politically opinionated. I don't want to work in an office and wear a suit. I don't want to be a robot. I don't want to conform. I don't want to be the same person every day. Like, I want to be able to dress way I want to dress on any given day, or dress like a character I'm playing, and not have to wear a uniform and not be stuck in a cubicle. I don't want to be a mindless job, because there would be nothing I would want to do with the money I made. I wouldn't care about going on a vacation. I don't want to travel. Can't stand it, actually. The only kind of traveling I liked was being on sets. Like, I felt like I saw enough of the world working on film and television sets here in Los Angeles without going anywhere. I was happy. The only times in my life I was happy was when I was acting. Otherwise, I was miserable. And growing up as a kid, I spent most of my childhood in my room reading books and not wanting to even have any contact whatsoever with my parents, not wanting to talk to them. Because if we did talk, it's like they didn't listen to me. They didn't hear me. I would not want to work with someone who doesn't believe in climate change. I would not want to work for someone who wanted me to go to church on Sunday. I would not want to work with someone who wanted me to talk about the Bible all the time. And I am so freaking mad at my father, because every time I try to talk to him, he wants me to have a relationship with my mother. Because I'm a girl, I'm supposed to have a relationship with her, right? I don't want a relationship with her. She's the dumbest person I ever met. The very fact that she thinks that being smart was me getting a job with health benefits, when I actually have an autoimmune disease where I need drugs called low-dose naltrexone, and I can't find a doctor who takes my insurance who will give me that drug. Isn't that ironic? Yeah. My health insurance is not helping me. And there are doctors apparently outside my network who might give it to me if I go to them, but I'd have to pay them anywhere from $150 to $200 out of pocket on top of everything else, and it wouldn't go toward my deductible with my insurance. And my parents are already paying this is it. When I was working on sets, the only thing my parents were paying was my health insurance. Everything else I was paying, I had bills to pay. I was making roughly $20,000 a year. And I say that even though I probably like money-wise, actual on paper, probably only made like something more like 16 to 18,000. They were feeding me. So not only was I getting paid, I didn't have to worry about buying food a lot of times. And that's the thing. Like Arnie Starr, when he got rid of me from sets, I mean, his attitude is that's the past. You know, I'm done. I'm done with acting. I'll never be on a film and television set again. And he's fine with that. He's fine with the fact that he basically killed me. He did. Because I don't want a future without acting. I don't want a husband. I don't want a boyfriend. I don't want relationships. I was a theater major in college and went to the same high school as Michael Phelps, where I had a GPA of 4.0. I am not a schizophrenic. I really did work for the Kennedy Center. I worked for Al Snyder in the National Press Building. I worked for Court TV. I've done a lot of crazy, interesting internships because that's who I am. I wouldn't go for something that was boring or dull. I don't want to be stuck in a cubicle somewhere. I did work for the Electronic Industry Association at one point. All I did for them was like answer the phone, and I did some database work for them, which has been really crazy because out here it's like some actors talked about doing database work. I only did that for 6 months, and then I changed jobs. You know, it's like someone was intentionally going around telling people, this is what Laurie is. She can do this. She can't do that. And it was somebody from American University doing that. I'm never going to feel good about myself now. I don't have any herpes. I don't have STDs. I was a good person. And I'm going to be miserable for the rest of my life. I'm still trying. There's a part of me that wants to get up and make little videos about acting and do acting. I don't care about getting a job. I don't care about making money. And as far as I'm concerned, somebody wants me dead. They'll be happy when I die. SAG-AFTRA will be happy when I die. I'm having trouble getting into my SAG-AFTRA account. Someone keeps changing my password. Nicole, Nicaragua, and Crabtree Island, in my opinion, are evil. I'm a straight woman, but I don't want a man in my life at all. I don't want to be a trad wife. I had script ideas. Ironically, I had a script idea about a mixed race family in a haunted house. It's called Gilbert. I registered with the Copyright Office. I've only shared it, I think, with 2 people. Well, I did it at a class at Santa Monica College. There was a bunch of students who know the rough idea of what I was going to do because I talked about it in the class. A woman who was a cop and a African American, and her sister and her sister's husband are in a house in the South, plantation house, that's haunted by an African American woman who was murdered in the house in the 1800s after giving birth to a baby. And there's a woman I wrote this character for myself, the woman who's the caretaker of the house. I was going to play that character, who has a son. And she is has effectively arranged for this family to be in this house, and the sister's pregnant. And there's a lot of other stuff going on. There's some seedy relationship going on between the police officer's sister and the husband. They have a seedy past, and he's an alcoholic with a drinking problem and a cheating problem. And there's also a worker, like a male worker who works around the property, and he's got something going on. I was kind of thinking about working something in with him where he's trying to like do a sort of real estate scam on the house. But that's not the real source of the evil. There's a curse on the family where the men of the family don't live beyond the age of a certain age. And my character is trying to break the curse for personal reasons. It's got some weird little genetic twists to it. And in fact, the reason I wanted to do this movie was because of genetics, because of Ancestry.com, or like all those DNA sites out there. Why would could someone use the Ancestry site and Ancestry.com or one of those DNA sites to effectively find someone to break a curse? And that's basically what is part of this story. I call it a story of a haunted house, a story of addiction set in a haunted house. And it kind of is. It's only it's 60 pages plus a short that I wrote that I want to combine the 2 shorts. So I probably have like 70, 80 pages. It probably just needs a little bit tightening up and a little bit of work as far as the script's concerned, and it would need someone who knows how to film something to make it scary. Because I don't think it's scary enough on paper. I think the general story's there, and I wrote myself a monologue which I want to cut and redo and rearrange. It's kind of weird. It's like I want to give myself less to say. I wrote myself into it. I gave myself a character, and I talked too much. I want to cut what I wrote in half, which I probably will because it'll make sense for the story. For me, it's more about telling the story than it is about giving me lines and attention. And plus, I figured with my age and illness and stuff, having a small role in it would be better. Which I talked to someone about this. I did this script originally at Santa Monica College, and which, it's ironic. I mean, seriously. And at this point, though, because of the politics and everything, I don't think I would give this script, even though it's mixed race, to either Ava DuVernay or Shonda Rhimes, because one, they're friends. Ava DuVernay does a lot too much work with Disney, and I hate Disney at this point. With everything they've done as far as letting a guy who raped me work, and then Shonda Rhimes, as far as I'm a hypocrite, who wanted to give Christians a voice, and in the process of giving Christians a voice, she basically effectively gave Donald Trump more power. And the fact that basically she's hired all these people with SAG-AFTRA, Jason Winston George, Asaph Cohen, Karen Klutzman, the girl who actually I was talking to the girl I think who's responsible for what SAG-AFTRA did to me in 2012, Katie Kutzman. She's the only person I was talking to on the phone back in 2012, when the union basically threw me into an institution claiming I said I was a lawyer when I really am a lawyer. And she claims she didn't say anything, but then she also says that she did what she thought was right. Yeah, great. Thank you. Whatever that was. But then in 2013, she gets hired by Grey's Anatomy. She got hired by Grey's Anatomy. Arnie Starr was Grey's Anatomy. Asaph Cohen was Grey's Anatomy. Woody Schultz works for that other fire show. I don't watch anything by Shonda Rhimes anymore. I was actually proud of working on a show with an African American woman. I was proud of it. I mean, I wouldn't be an actor if it wasn't for two black women in college who encouraged me to be an actor. Michaela Patterson and Sierra Hurt. I honestly wouldn't be. I mean, I have journals that I wrote when I was in college, and I talk about Sierra and how much I admired her and her talent and her ability as an actor and as a creative singer, and I really admired her and respected her. And I think, like, I had a book that I let her borrow, and I never got the book back, and I kind of think that my dad might have taken it. I don't know. It disappeared. I never got it back. And I ended up having a falling out with Sierra over it. But now looking back at my life, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if one of my parents didn't steal that book from me in order to ruin my friendship with Sierra, because I could totally see them doing that because they're twisted like that. And I lost touch with Michaela. She was older, but she was really talented. I mean, she was really talented. She did Hedda Gabler. She was the lead in Hedda Gabler when I was a junior, and I got asked to work on it as a senior. I was Berta. But I loved acting. I loved it. It was the one thing that gave me confidence and self-worth and self-esteem. So people don't get. You know, I feel like I had built up this confidence and self-worth, and all of it's been taken away. I suppose it meant to humble me, and in the process, well, I'm a woman who had 3 degrees by the time I was 30. I'm not interested in being humbled anymore. I'm not going to go work in a post office. I'm not going to go work at a job where I feel like I'm demeaned, and I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to teach you how to become successful, because I'm not successful. I'm an intelligent, educated woman who has achieved a great deal of things in her life, but because I was cut off from being an actor, there is no me being successful now, because that was the only thing I wanted to be successful at. Sorry. I mean, to the people that worked with me on sets, Lee Ryder, who thinks he's talented because he did one play and one class, I have a theater degree and a master's and more IMDb credits than you do, because I really had talent. I would have respect for you, but you are completely a lunatic. You want everyone to think I'm psychotic or crazy. You're a gun-loving moron who voted for Donald Trump. And regardless of what your relationship status is, you don't think I know what love is. I do. It's everything that you're not. Everything that my parents are not. If I'd actually met someone who brought the best out of me, let me flourish, and let me feel safe. Safe. No man in a uniform who carries a gun, who serves in the U.S. Army or military, is going to make me feel safe. I'm going to feel threatened. I don't want to be ordered to or commanded to do anything. I'm not that kind of person. If I choose to clean up my life, it's because I want to clean it up, not because I've been commanded to. The American dream isn't a dream, it's a nightmare. My dream was to have a small condo in Los Angeles, or a small house, where I could have enough space to be able to actually have a real kitchen. I'm living in one room. I hate it. And one thing I need is a kitchen more than anything else, because my entire diet revolves around how I eat. I can't eat processed food. And to just have a space where I could write, act, edit, direct, make digital art, do photography, do whatever kind of artistic thing I wanted. I have my own office. It used to drive me crazy. I wanted to start my own. When I got terminated from sets, I had all these people trying to get me rent office space. So if I was going to start my own business, the only kind of business I would have ever started would have been one involving actors. So if I can't have access to the actors, I don't have a business. I don't have a business without actors. I don't have a business without performers. I'm not an artist without acting. I don't like drawing. The acting, I don't want to spy and sell art. I'm not a curator. I'm nothing. I'm not working in art. I'm artistic hope. And without acting, I have no hope. And I don't want artistic hope going to people who are not into acting, performing arts. I don't want them, I don't want it, I'm not going to give it to someone who wants to spy and sell paintings with it. It was about giving everyone hope. It was about making the world a better place. Holistic, organic, philanthropic expression. I don't think people understand me. I wanted to do something that had nothing to do with about making money and everything to do about making the world better. I didn't even want to really turn it into a business. You know, I had this idea that if I became successful as an actor, then maybe people would pay attention to artistic hope and really think about making the world better with art. Because I said so. And instead, my reputation got ruined. I got treated as though I'm nobody, nothing. I'm not worth anything. I'm not sexy and hot. I was one of the smartest kids from Maryland. And nobody from Maryland stepped up and said this was wrong. I guess you guys thought I'd come back to Maryland and get a regular job and have benefits and live happily ever after. I would never be happy. Kelly Olowski, who used to be my friend, said I'd move to California and end my life. Well, you know what, Kelly? Bruce Culver was a good friend of mine. He's happier without you. I hope. Because you picked me up like I was a stray cat. But I didn't deserve to be kicked and left out in the cold. And your social worker friend tried to convert me to Pat Robertson religion. Freaking A. That's ridiculous. Sometimes people you think are liberal are not. Sometimes people that are conservative are not. And the world is not a simple place. It isn't. I hate Donald Trump. I always will. I loved acting. I always will. I love the planet. But sometimes hate the people on it